matters. I think that a lot of decisions have already been made, people have spoken about it, and I think a lot of contracts have already been signed. So at this point, I think instead of taking a NIMBY approach of not in my backyard, which doesn't solve anything, how can we work together to make policies to make sure that both for the community decision makers and the people living in the community as well as the surrounding communities, that we can make policies that both hold the infrastructure and the companies accountable, as well as make data transparent to make sure that we have fair rates, clean water, and real results. So I propose a three-pronged policy recommendation that contains all three of those things, that have fair rates, clean water, and real results, in that we take care to have and request transparency on how costs are allocated between customers and the company, as well as supporting state legislation like Oregon's Power Act for permanent protection. So in this way, we can enforce and push forward protection on rates and rates not increasing, and the allocation that is put forth in the policies. For clean water, protecting Lake Michigan through binding commitments and public reporting. These work in tandem with the TID and the VLC that are already structurally in place, but more clarity and clarification is needed. For example, adding water provisions to development agreements, requiring monthly public disclosures of water consumption data. So for example, right now there's a categorization of direct and indirect water usage that is sort of a greenwashing or whitewashing of the information. So ensuring that monthly public disclosures of actual water direct and indirect usage are made very clear, including things like independent verification that ensure that closed loop cooling or other types of replenishment are actually doing what they say they're doing. And then last but not least is real results, holding data centers accountable for promises on jobs, on investment, and on clean energy. So for example, if there are clawback provisions, what are the specifications of the clawback provisions? Then how do we recover tax benefits, and in what timeline if targets aren't met? What are the required performance milestones, mandating clean energy commitments and specifications, as well as requiring demand response capability for great emergencies. Thank you for your time. It does take a village.
Yes.
Ma'am?
This is a message for Mayor Ted and for the town board and for all of the people in here for against the data center who care about the safety of our children. Because of the tech companies that Vantage serves, there's never been a better time to be a pedophile. Thanks to the Sora software, OpenAI's image and video generator, it's easy to feed photos of children sourced through social media and generate hyper-realistic child abuse materials in seconds. Deepfakes are also already past the point where the average human can identify what's real versus AI generated, and that's being used against teens in sextortion scams. Elijah Heacock, an underage victim of fake AI generated revenge porn, was among other teens this year who died by suicide because of this issue. Even when no human predators are involved, AI is deadly. Teens and vulnerable adults using chatbots for therapy have received encouragement to practice self-harm. ChatGPT offered to write Adam Rain's suicide note, a 16-year-old boy. Common Sense Media recently completed a survey that 72% of teens have used AI chatbots in the last year, and over half of them are using them multiple times a month. This is an unregulated industry with real collateral damage in the form of human lives, let alone land and water. Generative AI is not only threatening our children's safety, it's also perilous to democracy itself. Anyone with a video channel or a podcast is an easy target for a deep fake, and it's very difficult to disprove misinformation at the rate of viral content on the internet. Even its effects on human relationships, mental health, jobs, and the environment doesn't bother you, the investment bubble should. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, recently has spoken about the lack of return on investment in AI. In 2024, the company lost $5 billion. In the first half of 2025, it lost $13.5 billion, and in the last quarter alone, it lost $12 billion more dollars. Billionaire Peter Thiel agrees, apparently, because the news has come in that he just dumped 2/3 of the US market share from Nvidia, which is a major partner in this AI development plan. At a recent Wall Street Journal tech conference, OpenAI chief financial officer Sarah Fryer suggested that a government loan guarantee might be necessary to close the gap. While we are here to discuss the construction of one major hyperdata center, context is important. This is what you're staking your political career on, and
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wisconsin. My message falls pretty closely with the last one. I'm not going to pretend that I know too much about the TID and the local economy and whatever Vantage is saying about how they won't mess with our resources. But I just wanted to give voice to, again, Adam Rain and his family and offer the perspective that OpenAI is a stain on society and ruins academia and how children are learning. Adam Rain was 16 years old when he was contemplating suicide. To ChatGPT, OpenAI's chatbot, which the chatbot did just nothing to alert the authorities or give any warning. And as students are being shot in schools and politicians are doing nothing about it, that is kind of the direction that this could go with the AI as this resource for just therapy and just when maybe people don't have access to that. So this is kind of the chance to not give into that and just not sell out to tech. We're so lucky to be on this earth, and it's just, you really just need to ask yourself if it's worth it for resources and children, and if you have kids and you're sending them to college, and you can guarantee you don't want them using ChatGPT to write their essays. Even second graders are doing that, and it's just, you really just have to think about, is it worth it? Is this what we want Port Washington? And I'm not even from Port Washington, but just setting precedent for is this what we want to put our land towards and our resources and our money? And I don't know if there's still time to stop it, but really just you have to use your brains and think about it. Is it really worth it? And think about all the harm that it can be done to children everywhere and academia, the generations that are going to be here after you. How do you want them to live? And I guess that is all I have to say. Not too eloquent, but